More ancient history jewelry stories. It's Wednesday, and of course, that means it's time to continue our deep dive. This month, we are doing our deep dive into jewelry as magical symbol. If you have listened to the first episode of this month's two podcasts, then you're going to be familiar with some of this information already, but I thought it was handy to have a visual reference. In the first podcast episode for this month, I talked about one of the most important forms of jewelry as magical symbol, and that is the ancient Egyptian amulet. Nowadays, we tend to classify amulets by their size and shape, but the ancient Egyptians believed that you could perform actions to create an amulet out of almost any object. These actions include spells and rituals performed over the amulet. They were not necessarily made out of expensive materials. These had to be accessible to everybody at every income level. The majority of amulets would have been made out of faience, which is a type of glazed stoneware, and could be made in a variety of bright colors. This allowed amulets to be mass-produced so they could be sold cheaply to everybody. Because many objects were turned into amulets by intention, we've lost too much context to be able to say that some of these objects were in fact amulets. There are some that are very obvious, like the inscribed heart scarabs that were found with many royal mummies. But some of them would not look like an amulet to our modern eye. And this could include little bits of papyrus, scraps of fabric, seashells, everyday objects, and wasn't only limited to wearing as pendants. Sometimes they were simply something you kept in your pocket. Sometimes it was a ring. Amulets could have been worn for a variety of reasons. In fact, one of the most common amulets that you see from ancient Egypt is that of the tilapia fish, which served two different purposes. It was often attached to the hair or clothing of young children in an effort to prevent drowning. But the tilapia also represented rebirth and eternal life. In fact, quite a few amulets did double duty, and many amulets found in tombs and burials could have potentially been something worn by the person when they were living. These objects are really kind of what we all think of when we imagine jewelry as a magical symbol, an amulet. Something that might protect, something that might aid you, something that might keep you healthy, usually in a recognizable shape that is related to the intention of the amulet.